A follow-up now to a story CBS 4 News first brought you. We have exclusive new details in a horrific case of animal cruelty surrounding a donkey dragged behind a truck. CBS 4's Joel Flores has been following this story and has the latest now for us. Joel.
Marcy, the 61-year-old was arraigned this morning and now faces jail time. He's accused of dragging his donkey more than 4 miles before remembering the mule was tied to the back of his truck. We warn you, the pictures are graphic.
The probable cause means that the officer had enough information to charge you. Do you understand that?
We first showed you the tragic photos of a small donkey found near death on a Santa Rosa road after a witness saw the animal being dragged behind a truck. Wednesday, the man accused of driving that truck goes before a judge.
I didn't do it on purpose.
61-year-old Miguel Garcia Perez tells CBS 4 News it was an accident. Constable Cesar Rene Diaz doesn't buy it.
If a person owns an animal, I believe that's their responsibility to care for them. And I think that if you can't hold yourself up to that responsibility, you don't have an animal.
Perez allegedly left his donkey with a friend but went back to pick him up out of fear the mule might get loose and end up run over. Unfortunately, the donkey's fate was sealed once he was back in his owner's care, according to the constable.
He went to go get it. He tied it with a rope. Then he went back home. And then somewhere down the line, he forgot that the animal was tied to the back of the pickup truck.
The poor animal was torn up from one side of his body to the other during the more than 4-mile drive.
We've seen other cases involving cruelty to animals, but as far as an animal being dragged that far or in that way, this is the first time.
The driver of the truck then left the donkey behind on 107 in South Rab Road. Perez claims he went home to figure out how to proceed with picking up the maimed animal. But when he returned to the bloody scene, authorities had already been called out by a Good Samaritan trying to help. The donkey was in such a deteriorated state that the humane thing to do, the constable says, was to put him down.
It's a shame that it happened the way it happened, but we followed the evidence and it led us to Mr. Perez, and I think it's his responsibility to answer to the charges as far as the cruelty to animals charges that he's facing.
Constable Diaz added that if it wasn't for the witnesses and the person who called in the incident, it would have been much more difficult to determine Garcia Perez as the suspect. In the studio, Joel Flores, CBS 4 News and ValleyCentral.com.